Hello everybody and welcome back to another Dallas 41 YouTube video, and today I'm going to be relaunching my series on the statistically best MVPs of the 2010s. So let's jump straight into it with the rules for this list. So as you might have guessed, I am not using my opinion for these rankings. I am basing them off of nothing but statistics. And how I'm going to be doing this, I am taking the 9 main statistical categories of points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, free throw percentage, and turnovers. Now, all of them I'm going to be rounding to the nearest whole number for every player and comparing each player to all the other 9 players one by one. So I'm going to be giving the point to whoever wins the stat. So in terms of points, if there are more than 4 points separating the players after rounding, I give the point to the player who wins because 4 points is 2 possessions. In the percentage category, so field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, and free throw percentage, I am giving the point to the player if there is more than a 5% difference in statistics, because I don't want to be nitpicky and award you for just having 1% better. For all the other ones, a rebound, an assist, a steal, a block, a turnover, all of them can make a pretty big difference. So the point is given if there is one of the stats separating. However, I have a 0.3 rule. So if player A has 1.4 steals and player B has 1.5 steals, player B still doesn't get the point, even though if you round, player B has 2 steals a game and player A has just 1. There has to be at least a 0.4 of the stat difference. So for example, I can give the point if it's 0.1 and 0.5, 0.2, 0.6, 0.3, 7, 4, 8. You get the picture. So without further ado, let's get straight into it and talk about the worst of the decade from every statistical category. Now, before I get into it, please remember that all of these players were MVPs, so even though these are technically the worst stats of the decade, they are still MVP level stats. So in the category of points, the worst was 2015 Stephen Curry, who only averaged 23.8 points per game. In terms of assists, it is Kevin Durant from the year 2014, who averaged only 5.5 assists per game. In terms of rebounds, the lowest was Derrick Rose from 2011, who averaged only 4.1 rebounds per game. In terms of steals, it is again Derrick Rose from 2011, who averaged only 1 steal a game. In terms of blocks, it is a tie between Stephen Curry of 2015 and Stephen Curry of 2016, who both only averaged 0.2 blocks per game. In terms of field goal percentage, the lowest was Russell Westbrook of 2017, who shot only 42.5% from the field. In terms of 3-point percentage, the lowest was Giannis Antetokounmpo of 2019, who shot a mere 25.6% from 3. In terms of the free throw percentages, the lowest was Giannis Antetokounmpo of 2019, who only shot 72.9% from the free throw line. And in terms of turnovers, the highest, because remember, in turnovers, the more you have, the worse you are. In terms of turnovers, the highest was Russell Westbrook of 2017, who averaged 5.4 turnovers per game. So now that we have the worst of the decade out of the way, let's talk about the best of the decade. And in terms of points, the best was Kevin Durant of the year 2014, who averaged 32 points per game. In terms of assists, the highest was Russell Westbrook of 2017, who averaged 10.4 assists per game. In terms of rebounds, it was Giannis Antetokounmpo of 2019, who averaged 12.5 rebounds per game. In terms of steals, the highest was Stephen Curry of 2016, who averaged 2.1 steals per game. In terms of blocks, the highest was Giannis Antetokounmpo of 2019, who averaged 1.5 blocks per game. In terms of field goal percentage, The highest was Giannis Antetokounmpo again of 2019, who shot 57.8% from the field in his MVP season. In terms of three-point percentage, the highest was Stephen Curry of 2016, who shot 45.4% from the three-point line. In terms of free throw percentage, the highest was Stephen Curry of 2015 this time, who shot 91.4% from the free throw line. And in terms of turnovers, the lowest was LeBron James of 2013, who only turned the ball over 3 times a game. So now let's talk about the average MVP, just having a little fun with the stats, averaging all of them out. We all know who the average MVP is. We just have to talk about how much he averages. And the average MVP averages 28.4 points, 7.5 assists, 7.3 rebounds, 1.6 steals, 0.7 blocks, shoots 49.9% from the field, 36.9% from 3, 82.8% from the free throw line, and 3.7 turnovers. Now, let's get into the actual rankings, the whole point of this video. And just one more time, I'm not using my opinion. All of this is based purely off of statistics. At number 10 is Derrick Rose from the year 2011. And in 2011, Derrick Rose averaged 25 points, 7.7 assists, 4.1 rebounds, 1 steal, 0.6 blocks, shot 44.5% from the field, 33.2% from 3, 85.8% from the free throw line off of 3.4 turnovers. And even though he is statistically the worst MVP of the decade, he still definitely deserved it, and I would have him a few spots higher if my opinion was used. Derrick Rose definitely deserved it, as he did lead his Chicago Bulls to the first seed in an Eastern Conference with the Big Three Miami Heat. So even Chris Bosh, LeBron James' own teammate, admitted that Derrick Rose definitely deserved that MVP. And frankly, I agree, but statistically worst of the decade. At number 9 is James Harden from the year 2018. And in 2018, James Harden averaged 30.4 points, 8.8 assists, 5.4 rebounds, 1.8 steals, 0.7 blocks, shot 44.9% from the field, 36.7% from 3, 85.8% from the free throw line, and 4.4 turnovers. Now, James Harden, he finally got his MVP. After being snubbed a couple times according to him and the Houston Rockets, he finally won his MVP, and he definitely deserved it, as he led his Houston Rockets to the first seed in a Western Conference with the Golden State Warriors in it. If that's not an MVP caliber season, I'm not really sure what is. At number 8 is LeBron James from the year 2012. And in 2012, LeBron James averaged 27.1 points, 6.2 assists, 7.9 rebounds, 1.9 steals, 0.8 blocks, shot 53.1% from the field, 36.2% from 3, 77.1% from the free throw line off of 3.4 turnovers. And LeBron James was on thin ice this year. LeBron definitely didn't try to overexert himself so he would be healthy for the finals. Because LeBron James, he was getting the reputation of someone who was choking in the finals. He was supposed to beat the Dallas Mavericks in 2011, but he didn't. And the pressure was definitely on LeBron James to prove that he wasn't a choke artist. So everything LeBron did was a little more reserved. He played with power, poise, but he didn't play with freedom, which is definitely what brought his statistics down a little bit, because he was trying to be a little more reserved so he could go at full force in the finals, which is exactly what he did. However, that still makes it one of his worst MVP seasons, statistically. At number 7 is Kevin Durant from the year 2014. Maybe a little higher, but Kevin Durant in 2014 averaged 32 points, 5.5 assists, 7.4 rebounds, 1.3 steals, 0.7 blocks, shot 50.3% from the field, 39.1% from 3, 87.3% from the free throw line off of 3.5 turnovers. And remember, Russell Westbrook wasn't there that year, so Kevin Durant literally had to find his own shot on almost every possession. And Kevin Durant did it spectacularly. This was the year that we really started questioning whether LeBron James is the best player in the world. Although the general consensus at that time was that LeBron James was definitely the best player in the world, Kevin Durant made you think, Kevin Durant made you think. And he definitely deserved the MVP, going all out, just not focusing on anything, just the game, and he had a spectacular MVP season. At number 6 is the most recent MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo from 2019, and this is right about where I'd put him, so definitely agree with this one. And Giannis Antetokounmpo in 2019 averages 27.7 points, 5.9 assists, 12.5 rebounds, 1.3 steals, 1.5 blocks, shot 57.8% from the field, 25.6% from 3, 72.9% from the free throw line off of 3.7 turnovers. And there were a lot of questions before the 2019 NBA season. Mainly, who would rise to the challenge? In the first time that the East was LeBron James free since the year 2002. So think about this. LeBron James was a factor in the East ever since he entered the league, and he entered the league in 2003. So for the first time in a decade and a half, the East was wide open for the taking, and Giannis Antetokounmpo definitely capitalized on that. He took his game to a whole nother elite level, and he spectacularly just took over the league without a three-point shot to his name. Unfortunately, that and the fact that he choked in the playoffs brings this MVP down a little bit for me. However, still an impressive MVP season. At number 5, a little too high for my liking, but LeBron James from the year 2010. And in 2010, LeBron James averaged 29.7 points, 8.6 assists, 7.3 rebounds, 1.6 steals, 1 block, shot 50.3% from the field, 33.3% from 3, 76.7% from the free throw line off of 3.4 turnovers. And statistically, yes, it is a very impressive MVP season, which is why it is this high, but if I was using my opinion, I would have it a little lower because he was stat padding a little bit. This was a season where LeBron was stat padding a little bit because he was going to be a free agent. This was the year before he took his talents to South Beach and joined the Miami Heat. This was the year that he was proving how much he was really worth to all the free agent, negotiators. And LeBron James just went berserk on the league. He knew this team wasn't going to amount to anything. This was probably one of the worst Cleveland Cavaliers teams that he ever had. So he decided to just, screw opinion, screw winning. I'm just going to make myself look as good as possible, which is why I think it is so high on this list statistically. However, there is no stat for stat padding. Speaking of stat padding, it's Mr. Stat Padding himself, Russell Westbrook from the year 2017. And in 2017, Russell Westbrook averaged 31.6 points, 10.4 assists, 10.7 rebounds, 1.6 steals, 0.4 blocks, shot 42.5% from the field, 34.3% from 3, 84.5% from the free throw line off of 5.4 turnovers. And even though it looks very impressive, averaging a triple-double per game, there was a lot of stat padding going on that year. There is visual evidence of Steven Adams allowing Russell Westbrook to grab the rebound and even tipping the rebound to Russell Westbrook. And some of his teammates said that whenever Russell gives you the ball, you feel like you have to shoot so that Russell Westbrook can get his assist. And I definitely think that is true. I don't think you just average a triple-double in the modern NBA without anything like that happening. So, yeah, definitely very impressive statistically, but context. At number 3 is Stephen Curry from the year 2015. And in 2015, Stephen Curry averaged 23.8 points, 7.7 assists, 4.3 rebounds, 2 steals, 0.2 blocks, shot 48.7% from the field, 44.3% from 3, 91.4% from the free throw line, and 3.1 turnovers. Okay, I'd have him way lower down my list if I was using my opinion. However, an impressive and efficient MVP season. Steve Kerr was now the coach of the team, which meant that Stephen Curry could take as many three-pointers as he wanted instead of, just having to initiate, run the offense, and, be a playmaker. He could focus on what he could do best, which was shoot, come off of screens, and knock down three-point shots. And Steph Curry did that wonderfully and just took the league completely by surprise that year, and really, it was very impressive what he did that year. Either way, it's an impressive MVP season. At number 2 is Stephen Curry from the year 2016, and I agree with this in terms of my opinion as well. And in 2016, Stephen Curry averaged 30.1 points, 6.7 assists, 5.4 rebounds, 2.1 steals, 0.2 blocks, shot 50.4% from the field, 45.4% from 3, and 90.8% from the free throw line, along with 3.3 turnovers. I mean, a 50-40-90 season, plus being the best player on what was historically the best regular season team of all time. Considering that you win your MVP for your performance in the regular season, I mean, what more could you ask for than this? There's nothing more to say. Only overshadowed by one, which is LeBron James from the year 2013. And in 2013, LeBron James averaged 26.8 points, 7.3 assists, 8 rebounds, 1.7 steals, 0.9 blocks, shot 56.5% from the field, 40.6% from 3, 75.3% from the free throw line, and 3 turnovers. And this was probably the best version of LeBron James that we have ever seen, not only in terms of athleticism, but also in terms of efficiency. LeBron shot over 40% from 3. I think that's one of the only times he's ever done that in his career. And a lot of this was to do with the fact that LeBron wanted to play basketball again. He even said in 2013 that before 2012, his first championship, all he could think of was winning that championship. And now that he had won it, he felt like the pressure was off and he could stop focusing on winning titles and start focusing on playing basketball again. Ultimately, that made LeBron James much more appealing to watch, not only for the team, but for the viewer as well. And 2013 was definitely, not only statistically, but also in my opinion, the best league MVP season of the 2010s. So, was there anything you were surprised by? There's not really much to really disagree with because, it's all statistics. However, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm going to do the Finals MVP relaunch next. But for now, this is Dallas41 signing off.